How you doing, everybody? And welcome to the Vibe Tribe Bi-Conics Wrestling Podcast review of Smackdown for July 7th. I'm here with Minnie. Finally, it's been weeks. We finally got together to review a Smackdown. How's the Minnie? How you doing?
Dude, I've been working, but we'll get better at getting this done weekly.
We'll get better.
Like
We
we're,
will.
like we're supposed to.
Well, so the confession we got to make is we didn't review SmackDown from 2 weeks ago because it was kind of coming off Money in the Bank. We're right in that same Money in the Bank, the go home show, and we hated it.
Basically, that's what it was. This is so bad it doesn't even deserve our time.
We were just like, really? That's what we're gonna? And we rolled our eyes and didn't want to do it. And then we landed on Money in the Bank, which was a blast, and we went all in on that. And then time took over. So
here we are.
And sadly, we're in kind of a similar situation talking about July 7th SmackDown, which is neither here nor there. For those of you who watched it and you're just looking for a recap, I'll give you the timestamps of this first, in my opinion, and then we'll kind of dive into the rest of this. There was 45 to 50 minutes of Bloodline, 20 to 25 minutes of commercials. So you have 90 minutes of just that, leaving 30-ish minutes for Grayson Waller, the Grayson Waller effect, Grayson Waller and Edge, a bit with Asuka, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Madness, and whatnot. We'll talk about that. And then there's a random, Karrion Kross, AJ Styles, just because we can. What in the hell is going on with the time management in these things? It's ridiculous.
They want to push the bloodline, I guess. I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, if you don't want to watch SmackDown, here's all you need to know. Bloodline. And then Edge is back.
Yeah.
That was all we got from SmackDown, really.
I mean, so I don't want to. Here's my problem, and I talk about acting a lot because, that's kind of what I do. There was a lot of, so we have this segment of, we're going to do this tribal court thing, which I've never bought. Like, in the last year and a half of watching these tribal courts, and even with Sammy and stuff there, is like, this is dumb. Because in my head, if it's a tribal court, well, then get the whole family involved. Call Rikishi, call your uncles, call your cousins, make it the whole tribe. Fine. There's 4 of you arguing in a ring. You're not a tribal council. I'm sorry. I just don't buy it. And there are always these exhibits and this thing and the defense this and whatever. Fine. So the Usos come out. They're talking about, their win. We're doing this. Of course, it gets interrupted by Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa, which I was actually really excited to see maybe some Solo Sikoa angle to this story instead of just, the strong silent type. Like, I really wanted to see something in here.
Did Solo snatch the mic from Paul Heyman?
Right. So Paul Heyman looks over and says, "There's only one person who can tell me to shut up." And then Solo grabs the mic and takes it away. So there's that.
That was the best bit from the whole thing.
There was this great bait and switch moment. I was sort of like, oh my God, is Solo going to be the guy? Is it Solo? Oh my God. And then it's not. It's like, oh man, okay, I guess we're all right. He's just going to be angry and throw it out the ring.
I will agree. There was a guy I watched him. If I can find his name, I gotta find his name and say it because he's great. I watch him all the time. He will watch SmackDown on one screen on like one portion, and he'll duet it with himself, like reviewing, like talking about it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, yeah. So he watches it live, and he'll give like commentaries he's watching. And he was, what did he say? Oh my God! I just completely brain farted on it. Oh my God! No!
You just cooked your brain,
dude. It did. My brain got fried. I will say though, the most heel thing that Roman Reigns did was crease some shoes.
Dude. So
when he took his knee, he creased the hell out of them shoes.
Every sneakerhead's going, no. So this is hard, and I don't want this to be a quick review because there's so much stuff to break down and talk about. And this is more of a theater thing, and you'll probably get this as we talk about it. There's something that happens when you're acting, and when you think you're acting. I'll put it on that way. And you're not really acting, you're emoting. You're just sort of sitting there brooding in the moment, like, yeah, this feels good, yeah. And it feels like you're acting. You're not. You're not doing anything. You're just sort of sitting in the moment and we're staring at you. You're not telling a story. You're not doing anything else. And sadly, Jimmy J and Roman are doing that all the time. They're just sort of doing this fake cry, I'm upset with you thing, and they'll pace around and they're kind of breathing funny, but they're never really doing anything. And as a acting teacher, someone who's seeing that, it's like, what? Why are you why? Do something. And Roman Reigns' fake crying drove me nuts. I disagree with a lot of other wrestling people out there. I thought that was bullshit. Oh, I can say that. We're past a few minutes.
Oh yeah, we're good. But yeah, it was weird to be honest with you, seeing Roman cry. And then, I mean, yes, it played into his manipulative character. I do agree with that. It did play into that. But I'm not a big. I think I've said it before. I'm not really a big promo guy. I like the in-ring stuff.
Sure.
That's why I had John. He's my promo guy.
We talk about this a lot here at Vibe Tribe too. Like, listen, if you're gonna do a promo, make it good. You have 30 to 60 seconds to hold my attention. Get in, get out, get moving on with the thing. Like, that's where it really works. When you're sitting in these sort of brooding. Simon Miller reported on What Culture, and then I don't think it was Bleacher Report, it was somebody else recorded that it was supposed to be 20 minutes. 20 minutes.
Yeah, and they went over, and then they had to rewrite a bunch of things.
Yeah, and it just shows me it's an unprofessional thing to do, and you just totally screwed over everyone else there for your selfish needs. Like, you didn't care about anybody else. Nothing. And it tells me that they either didn't know what to do, or they thought that they were doing something more important, or the dreaded Vince McMahon said, go out there and do whatever you want.
If they were really concerned about it going over, they should have made this the end of SmackDown.
Sure.
And ended it with Jay's little challenge instead of, and let everybody else kind of get their shit done and get it out of the way so they can have the time they need, and then they can go into Tribal. Or I feel like I was watching a really bad episode of Judge Judy.
I mean, Roman Reigns' entrance to the ring took so long there was a commercial break.
Yeah, that's Roman for you.
And we came back from commercial. He just stopped walking. Like, oh my god!
Like his entrance is the only entrance that's longer than his is the Undertaker's.
But at least I want to watch the Undertaker's. I'm like, he's doing something.
Roman just slowly takes off his 1900 belts and walks to the ring.
Sort of like,
he did throw the hell out of the Undisputed belt. He like chucked that thing.
He sold it, yeah. He did sell the fact that I'm done with this, I'm done with that, and I kind of wanted. I thought they were going to break up that lei that he wears. I thought he was just going to go bow and like break it to pieces or something like that, or make something really symbolic. No, I'm just going to kneel down and then
put it on Jay. Then I'm going to hit you in the nuts.
That would have been cool. I would have been fine with that. I think Solo should have put it on. There's so many things they could have done.
I think they're slowly hinting at Solo, probably the youngest taking over, or just he's the one that just says fuck all of this. We're done.
Well, yeah, but like, I don't. So what drives me crazy about this bloodline stuff is Jimmy and Jay are such strong personalities. I don't buy that they would get gaslit by their bully cousin for this long. Right? You make me treat you this way. I only do this because I love you. Like, I don't buy that they would feel that for that long.
They didn't say anything. Like, after they, like, their initial bit, it was Roman, then on. And then they got into a fight. It was like, Jay said like 4 words, Jimmy said like 2, and then that was it from the Usos.
So yeah, for those of you that watched it, imagine, or didn't watch it, I should say rather, if you're there for 40 minutes and there's maybe, I don't know, 20 words spoken in 40 minutes. Like, what is happening?
Most of it was waiting for Roman to get to the ring, and then after he after he low blowed Jay, and then it was like they tied him up to the ropes. Jimmy got put through a table because he's getting ran off TV for a while.
And that's where I thought we were going to kind of end there. And that would have been a nice, tidy start. I mean, it took us a long time to get there anyway, but it's sort of like this happened, that happened, and bang. But then we get the ambulance, and then we get this thing, and then we get the backstage shot of all this crew, and then the backboard and the thing. And I get it. But now you
Jay,
just go.
what did Jay say? Trial by combat.
Oh, yeah, trial by
Yeah,
combat at the very end. Yeah,
yeah. You're
yeah,
fighting me if you don't. I'm accept so I can kick your ass again. I like that though. It's like accept so I can kick your ass again.
it's a good hint of that. So I don't. I'm not saying that I'm. I think this bloodline thing lost a lot of momentum with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Like we kind of lost it there, right? And then
Uh, they should have just ended it after fucking Jimmy and Jay pinned
they could
Roman
have
for the
ended
first
it
time in
there.
3 years.
And they had an out. So yeah, so their first out I feel like was Sammy and Kevin, right? Second out they obviously had was this pin from just a week ago. Like bam, pin over. It's over. We can do
And
whatever we
then
want now.
Jimmy and Jay go after tag belts, and then Roman can start his whole thing with Cody again, or whoever's going
Right.
after his
That's
belts.
what I was gonna say. Like you have this whole Cody finish the story thing that just fell off. And
That,
now apparently we
these,
got more Brock Lesnar crap happening for some
yep.
reason.
I'll talk about that on Raw.
That's on Raw. I can't even believe it.
I'll talk about that on
I'm
Tuesday.
I'm so over that. I don't understand. And but I digress. So I think the bloodline thing is messy. I think everyone pretty much agrees with that, but there's some people who buy into it as a soap opera. Like they're all in on the drama of it.
It seems like 95% of the wrestling community is like salivating over this bloodline storyline.
Well, yeah. And this is more meta than I think we went to go, but I think it was because we had sort of 10 years of never seeing this, right? There were not a lot of there were no like this is the first epic 2, 3, 4 year feud we've had probably since the 90s and early aughts. Like here's a huge thing.
Well, not just the 90s. I mean, we've had Edge and Cena and Orton.
So Edge, Cena, Orton. I do know that I wasn't watching a lot.
Those are really, really long feuds, but like
sure.
this is the first major one we've had since probably like 2015, 2016.
Sure.
So it's been, and it's this, and until like it should have just ended with the pin last week, but like it's been, besides like because I think it's because we're just tired of it. It's been all so long, but it's been one of the best storylines for a long time.
Right. And I think more of what I'm speaking to is when WWE gets it right, they don't know how to end it. It's sort of this is perfect, let's go, and then it goes.
Let's keep because it's making us money.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though it's turning people off and people roll their eyes, and I don't. Oh, I got to be careful here. I don't want to get too many people angry. Forget it. There's a type of fandom that comes with every sport. You and I can talk this with NFL or NBA or whatever else, where
right.
There's the homer that's always cheering for their team, and that's fine, but you know what you are. And then there's like the fans that are sheep, not even bandwagon, that they just so almost, I mean, fanaticism, but sort of like, you tell me what to think. This is a good trade. Yes, I agree. That's a good trade. Or whatever it is, right?
Right. They're just like, everything that happens with this organization is always good, never bad.
Sure. And a lot of those fans are sometimes in Boston, but I digress. So there's a lot of fans that I love you, Boston. I got friends out there, but they know exactly what I'm talking about. Where it's great. Never like the team always knows it's always them. They're great. They're great. But once they turn on you, they've turned on you, and you're never going to win them back. And that's how people get fired and whatever else. And for some reason, Vince McMahon is able to just make people wait and go, yeah, okay, I'll watch. And because Vince is a cult leader who looks like Snidely Whiplash. I don't know, man. This bloodline thing is getting old. If the acting was good, maybe I'd buy it, but I'm not buying it no more.
I'm hoping SummerSlam and it's done.
They got to kill it, right?
That's what I'm looking at. It's looking by the looks of it, either Jay or Solo is gonna, like, if Solo turns on Roman, the bloodline's over, then it becomes a championship feud. If not, Jay's just gonna pin Roman and it's done, and then we can finally take a breath and we don't have to worry about the bloodline anymore. And we can just go on about our lives with whatever other shitty storyline Vince wants to do.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for Rikishi. I really want Rikishi to come back and just do something.
Right. And I'm hoping that whatever happened, because there was a couple, like 2 weeks ago, there's a big meeting about how to get the Vince to stop fucking with the product.
Sure.
That they did with Tony Khan. I think Tony's the one that owns WWE.
Tony Khan?
Is it Tony or Nick? I don't remember.
Nick Khan. Nick
Nick
Khan's the
Khan.
WWE. Tony Khan's
Tony's
AEW.
AEW. Okay, I don't remember. I don't
Too many
forget their
cons.
names.
Too many cons.
Yeah, but not a lot of pros. All right. So that was the first 3/4 of WWE. Here's the rest
Yeah.
of it.
So here's
Sheamus and
everything else.
Austin Theory had a match.
So
United
go ahead. Go
his
ahead.
U.S. title match that ended with the most devastating move in all professional wrestling, a surprise roll-up.
Another surprise roll. What culture has that counter at like 47, 48, something ridiculous like that?
It's really high.
The surprise roll up, grabbing him by the shorts.
You don't see it on pay-per-views very much anymore, which is good. It's really only on the weekly shows that you see a lot of those. But
fine.
match looks like Sheamus is getting ready to win. Pretty Deadly comes out because they're in a feud with the Brawling Brutes. They come out, distract Sheamus. The Brawling Brutes come out, gets even more distraction. He accidentally bro kicks. Who did he bro kick? He bro kicked somebody on accident, and schoolboy roll up pin. Austin Theory is still
and stuff.
The worst championship reign in recent history.
Again, and we've talked about this here before on other podcasts. I think I've talked about it with you too. It's sort of like I really want to like Austin Theory. I just feel like they don't know what to do.
Get the belt off of him.
They paired him up with Pretty Deadly, and this sort of cool, like you're the pretty boys of Britain, I'm the pretty boy here of Atlanta. Fine, okay, you got the Brawling Brutes in this. Fine, I think they could flesh it out a little more, make it a little more specific on we don't like you because of your teeth, well, we don't like you because of your hair. Like they could do more than that, I think.
They just got to get the belt off Theory at this point.
He's had a good run on it. You've kind of again written yourself into a corner. What do I do with Austin Fury? Because it's still like it's a bit of a generic championship run, kind of like what you were saying. It's sort of like this is great and you have it, but this title means nothing. Why?
It doesn't. It means if you win, you won the United States. Cool, you're just still a mid carder, dude.
Yeah,
like, it means nothing. Like Gunther has made it like if you beat Gunther, it means something.
Right.
With the IC belt over on Raw, so it's like they need to make it mean something for the US belt. Like that belt really hasn't meant anything since Cena had it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is sort of, and we talked about this a few months back. I think the sort of hierarchy of belts, like now that's all shook because now we have three heavyweight belts.
The only belt I think, in my opinion, right now that means less than the US belt. I'm sorry, is Mikey and JBL. I apologize. Is the women's tag team championships? But even then, that belt does slowly start to climb up a little bit.
And that's no fault of their own. It's because the mismanagement of the women's tag team.
Right. I mean, they're slowly making it better and better.
Sure.
But
give me more women's tag team matches. Stop. This is for all promotions. Stop doing one women's match a night. 2023. Plug him in there. Let's go.
I mean, you saw what happened in night one of Mania. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, one of the best matches of.
Shoot.
Like that shit. Like if it wasn't for a Bloodline, that would have been the main event.
Easily. I'm in Backlash. Selena Vega.
Oh yeah.
Even
on Raw last week, even though it was Natalya and Rhea Ripley, again that match was actually really good.
Yeah. So the women are killing it. And what's hard is I feel like and this is, just not to go full teacher-y, but the women wrestlers probably have to work twice as long, twice as hard to get noticed, period. So in the end, they're just going to be that much more seasoned and that much better and willing to compromise and work a certain way, unless you're Charlotte Flair. And do good work every single time. Because they get the call and they're the first ones cut or the first ones plugged in. And they got a bum rap. It just comes off that way. So I think you're right. But what are you going to do back to the U.S. title? Like it means nothing now. There's no reason to have it. It's like
you have to give it to somebody who can elevate, like Gunther was doing with the IC belt.
Yeah,
make somebody just unstop. Like you have to. I don't even know who. Like AJ Styles, I think could lift it.
Sure. I want to talk. We'll talk about AJ when we get to this. Why are we here?
There's not a lot of of those big name talents on big name mid card talents on SmackDown right now. I feel like that could do it. Like Sheamus could be close, but Sheamus has already held that belt for. Right. That would have been like his fourth reign with it. Sure. Where he's only missing the IC belt to finish his then he'd be a Triple Crown. He'd won. That was you'd have won everything within WWE.
Right. Right.
But
I don't
I
know.
know
Like I don't think there's anything that. Again, this is what happens when you write yourself into a corner.
unless Braun Breaker gets moved up to main roster and wins that US title and then goes on a run from there. I think Braun Breaker could do it, and he should be on main roster.
I agree with that. I don't hate that idea too.
I feel like he could, if done the right way. And if Triple
Sure.
H is doing it, it will be done the right way. Long as Vince keeps his little fingers
As long
away
as
from it.
as long as little Vince doesn't jump in. I have an idea.
You're gonna win and then lose to Omos.
What if it's Omos for the US title against Austin Theory? That match could be terrible.
Oh, I would. I think my eyes would fall out.
I think that would be awful. Although Omos did respond to Bi-Conics Wrestling Podcast on the Twitter, I guess. So
on Threads, he responded to
on Threads.
Adolfo.
Yeah, he saw us on Threads.
He responded to Adolfo on Threads about anime. So there you go.
That's great.
I know I talk so much shit about you, Omos,
but you're cool. We think you're super cool.
As a person, you're great.
I think we just want you to do more, and we hope you get a chance to do more. I think we're just saying it in a mean, uncouth kind of way.
Go back to NXT and relearn everything. That's what we need to do.
So we get this match. We get the roll up. Everything's over. Everything's fine. We move on to this sort of commercial recap of everything that ever happened at Madison Square Garden. Which is cool. And then you remember, the history of what's at Madison Square Garden and everything that's happened there for wrestling and whatnot. At the time I was watching this, so now we're like halfway through SmackDown. In my head, I was thinking, if I bought New York tickets, like New York money price tickets to see this at Madison Square Garden, I'd be pissed by now. Because you've wasted the first 60, 70 minutes of my time.
Right. I want to keep in mind, we're halfway through SmackDown. We've had one match.
And all the backstage stuff we're not privy to in the arena. But what I did find out later is that there was like a little bit of a house show that happened beforehand. Like LA Knight was there before the show, and there was a few things that were kind of squash matches, so folks were there. But it wasn't televised. And apparently it was great. So they got their money's worth, but for the actual taping was like, I was bored by now.
Oh, dude. It's a sloth to get through. That's why I legitimately was like, I saw like the text about how long this Bloodline segment and everything was. I was like, I'm just gonna watch like a recap of SmackDown.
Yeah,
because I don't think I want to sit through that
chunk of it. Yeah, I mean, if you jumped in at minute 60, you would have been right at Grayson Waller effect, and then from here on out, it still works.
Right.
So we jump into the Grayson Waller effect. We get the promo. We find out the special guest is Edge. Edge is going to come out and interview Grayson Waller. We're going to have this thing. Again, I have not. Mikey talked about Grayson Waller, and so did JVL, and used to watch Grayson Waller and knows they're a great wrestler. This is my first time seeing Grayson Waller in the ring. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, that was that's his main roster in-ring debut because he's been injured.
I guess so, right? Because he was hurt. The Grayson Waller effect, it goes up, the Edge comes down, huge ovation for the Edge. Everyone was super excited. Edge reminisces a little bit about my times at Madison Square Garden and, all the matches I've had here. And I ran through this section and that section over there. And so they loved him in New York. Totally over. Grayson Waller does this weird catty thing of, but you got this big announcement, make this announcement. And Grayson Waller announces Edge's retirement for Edge, which I guess is kind of, for lack of a better term, to use the British term on the Australian term, just kind of taking the piss out of him. Something similar he did to John Cena at Money in the Bank, where just sort of, I'm going to cut you down, I'm going to make fun of you a little bit. And the Edge immediately sort of, reclaims said dominance, says, I've talked to Adam Pearce, I want a match tonight, and guess what? It's with Grayson Waller. And everyone goes crazy, and the Edge walks out glaring, and that was it.
Right. I mean,
that was it.
That's about like that's what you can expect. I mean, they were given, hey, you guys have like 45 seconds, get it done.
Well, kind of. I think for Edge, they were like, here's your segment, you get all your time, because they obviously took time away from other matches we'll talk about in a second. I don't like it. I see why it's there. I've never liked these fake talk shows that WWE, even since when I was a kid, when it was Brutus the Barber Beefcake had a thing in a barber shop, and then
It really has
Roddy
that.
Piper had Piper's Pit, and some of these other ones. I was like, this is I don't like it.
It's goofy.
I've never
They
responded
can
well
be
to it.
fun though, but I mean, they needed to give Grayson Waller something because he's really good on the mic, so they needed to give him something to do since he's hurt. So they did the Waller
He's
effect.
very good at making me hate him. It annoys the hell out of me, and I love
Hey,
Australians. I got a thing for Australians, and watching him, I'm just like, I want to like you. Why are you doing this?
why are you such a douche canoosh?
Yeah, the technical term.
Yeah,
Oh,
but it was the thing. It set up a match for Edge and Grayson Waller's in-ring debut. It should not have been Edge versus Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller should have won his in-ring debut, but we'll
well, we'll
talk
talk
about that.
about. There's a nod in that match that I think was the sort of here's me
Right,
passing this over to you thing. And
right.
then we get this AJ Styles Karrion Cross feud still going.
Yeah, it's just Barry carrying Cross again.
We're week 4 now of why is this happening?
Karrion Cross is being buried more than Booker T was when he fought Triple H.
Even the summaries of this match are like 3 sentences long. We're sort of like, this happened, it's over. Great. Why are we here? I think this one was one that was cut for time for obvious reasons. It was 4 minutes long on my YouTube TV. 4 minutes. Boom, boom. This is over. Phenomenal forearm. Bang. It's over. Like, oh my gosh.
It was, I go for phenomenal forearm. I grab leg. Mia Yim goes, no, phenomenal forearm. Match over.
It's over. And I laughed out loud at the end of this. Just sort of like, that was it? That's where we're going? Okay.
Karrion Cross
Why?
is being buried to the core of the earth, I guess. Guess go to Japan because that's where you're going to end up. That's
But in a good way.
bad.
In a good way. Go to
In a good way.
Japan and
Yeah,
be like an ogre American heel for a year or two. And then come back a star. Like that would be
right,
great for him to do right now.
right. Because you're just being kicked in the dick.
I don't know I don't think they know what to do with him. He's not over. Everyone's kind of met about him. There are Vibe Tribe members, Bi-Conics members who have very specific opinions about Karrion Cross. If you've heard that on the Bi-Conics podcast, give him something to do, or don't let him run out his contract and go somewhere else where he can fly a little bit.
Right. Good.
Not that he
Or send him back to NXT. Let him work on NXT a little bit longer.
Like
Do
go
something.
Season up, right? Like there's definitely something missing. And I think that at this point, I used to hate on Karrion Cross a lot. I think at this point, they're just letting him drown. Here, just go tread water over there. We don't know what to do.
I wonder if he pissed somebody off.
Sure, this could be a Jeff Bagwell situation where it's sort of like, oh, you talk some shit.
No, it happened. Fucking what's his name? One of the main members of Hit Row. He pissed a lot of people off backstage. That's why Hit Row hasn't been doing anything.
I haven't seen Hit Row in a while.
Last time I saw him was in that tag team turmoil match.
Right, and they were 30 seconds in.
Yeah, and they got buried because like the big dude in Hit Row is like he pissed off like a lot of people backstage.
Goodness.
So they're just being buried.
Yeah, don't be a dick. They're gonna bury you. So after this, we have this Asuka. Asuka comes out to the ring and starts talking about how nobody's ready for Asuka. Bianca Belair comes in to beat up the Asuka. And then Charlotte Flair comes in to beat up the Asuka and the Bianca Belair. And then that happens for a while. And then Io Sky shows up with Bayley. And Io Sky has the briefcase, jumps in the ring with the briefcase, tries to cash it in, I think calls the ref over, gives the case to the Bayley. Bayley misses, I don't know how, misses handing the case to the ref in time. Someone gets hit with something, everyone disappears, and it was done. Right?
Sounds about right.
It was just this weird, what is happening?
I just give me Io Sky versus Asuka, please.
I
give
think
me two awesome Japanese wrestlers kicking each other's ass.
I don't know if this is true, and you might know better than me. Apparently, this is the longest any woman has held the briefcase.
No, Carmella has held it for like 200 some days.
Okay,
but other than that, every other women's wrestler's cashed in that night.
Good knowledge. I wanted to ask you because I was like, I think many know the answer to that. Because What Culture and somebody else had purposed, this is the longest anyone. It's like, no, I
Yeah,
think
no,
someone
I
else held it, right?
like Carmella held it. What? My mic fell over. Carmella held it. I'll look it up. But yeah, Carmella held it for a long time.
Okay. I was sort of jarred when I heard that reported by other folks. Again, this was probably destroyed because of time, because they ran 30, 40, 50 minutes over for Bloodline stuff. And then Grayson Waller and Edge got whatever they wanted because it's the Edge. Fine. This
Yeah,
is just totally mismanaged. This was nuts.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, Carmella held it for almost a year, 287 days.
Yeah, so I wonder what they're talking about. I'm not sure what Charlotte Flair's coming to the ring looking like the Silver Surfer getup was, but she's gonna wear whatever she wants. Fine. I want to like Asuka as a heel, but I fell in love with her when she was a face, and so now I don't buy it like I should, even though she's mean and she sells it really well. So I'll come around to that eventually. I'm glad that Bianca Belair's in there. I'd love to see Io Sky in there. Bailey is the bumbling friend that tries to make it better, but it always makes it worse. I don't really buy it yet. It's a little sloppy to me. So I just thought this was a mess. I just was like, why is this happening?
Right. It was terrible.
Which is unfortunate because I don't think it's not like anyone's fault. It definitely felt like they were backstage and went, okay, you have 4 minutes. Go. And then they didn't have any plan and they just condensed everything they were going to do and it just got messy. So it's unfortunate.
Exactly. It sounds like what happened.
Yeah. Like we're short for time and Edge gets anything they want. So you got this much time, go fix it. It's like, come on. And that's the one big women's spot of the night. Like that's really what we get. Okay. That should have gone way better. Cool. So that happens. We didn't like that. All right. So then we get the Edge and Grayson Waller, which was a match that Grayson Waller found out about 10, 15 minutes earlier based on commercial breaks. I thought the match itself, I thought was great. I had no problem with this match.
I think the finish was cool.
I thought the finish was great. I thought Grayson Waller, finally seeing Grayson Waller in the ring was like, oh, you're good.
Yeah, he is. I watched his, I was there for his match against Johnny Gargano at Stand Up Delivered for Mania.
Oh, right. Yeah. Great.
Phenomenal match.
Yeah. I'm trying to, I don't know if I remember that.
It was the unsanctioned match. It was awesome. If you don't watch it, it's great. I saw it live. If you ever hear holy shit chants, I started those.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
That's your claim to fame. I started those.
I started a holy shit chant, so I can die happy.
So there were a few, we can talk about this quickly. There were a lot of times where the audio kicked out, and I guess it was for whatever's being chanted in the audience. And I don't know if that added time or what, because you can't swear on WWE shows. That's an AEW thing. But they were going crazy at some point. So there's a good section where there's like 60 seconds of no sound, whatever the crowd is cheering. During all the bloodline spots have like a 30 or 40 or 60 second, like, you can't say that, like, chant
it's probably a fuck you, Roman.
Oh, I'm sure. So the Edge and Grayson Waller chants going. I liked all of this. I had no problems with it. I
did like his rolling over the back prettier.
Yeah.
That he did with Edge. I thought that was really cool. Grayson is super, super athletic. Is nice. He's a little bit of ring rust, but shook it off real easy.
Grayson ate that powerbomb on the cement. Like that could not have felt good.
Oh no. And he ate that spear too.
And that spear at the end was welcome to the big leagues. This match happens. It's great. Edge wins. Solid. Edge takes the mic again and turns to Grayson and says, I don't want to misquote this. Well, where'd it go? Where'd my quote? No, where'd it go? There it is. Grabs the mic and tells, he looks at him and says, you swam, and then puts the mic down. And that sort of sink or swim mentality that wrestlers have. He looks at him and says, you swam, drops the mic. So there's a lovely moment of respect there, which was earned by the Hall of Famer and Grayson Waller. So I think that was a cool gesture to see at Madison Square Garden. I don't know if it's a passing of the torch necessarily, but after Edge talking about here's all my history here, and then looking at Grayson Waller like, hey, and now you're a part of it. You did it. I think that was a cool little wink at the audience and nod to the business that he had for Grayson Waller in that moment. And I thought that was really cool to see.
I wish he gets one more title run before he leaves, but that was Edge's.
Is there a time limit? Is there a time when we know he's going? Like,
I
does he have a
don't know.
contract or something,
He said there's. I was trying to read about like when his timeable release, like what his timetable is, but I think they might try to push to him. He's got to get moved to Raw, and I think he should go over Seth's belt because technically that's based off the belt he never lost.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's fair. I will see. I think when you hit that Hall of Famer status and you're way up there, like you can kind of do whatever you want,
right?
Like they're gonna talk to you about.
This is weird though. I just realized this is like the first time. Well, like in general, if you look at the Hall of Famers right now, really quick, Rey Mysterio, who was the first, I think, active wrestler to be inducted to the Hall of Fame.
So we're talking about Hall of Famers who are wrestling.
Right. There's 2 active Hall of Famers that are wrestling.
Oh yeah.
That's never happened. Like Rey was inducted while he was still active, which has never happened before. No wrestler's been inducted while they're still active. They're either inducted as a part-timer or they're retired completely.
That's interesting. I'm trying to think of. So
and then Edge, who's wrestling still currently, but he's a part-timer.
That would be something interesting we should look up. Is how many Hall of Famers got inducted and were still going, were active, and not just showing up for spots.
There were some that still were, like Ric Flair was still wrestling when he got inducted. But it was like within WWE, because a lot of wrestlers are wrestling indie shows and stuff, or doing other stuff.
Right. Like we're like WWE. We see you twice a week. Like we're on.
Right. Like Ray is the first active one that I've ever seen that's been inducted while he's still active full time.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of them, well, like Steve Austin took a break, got inducted, came back, had a few runs. But that's not quite the same, like you're saying. Like to be
that's what happened with Edge right now. He got inducted while he was retired because he thought he was done.
Wow, that sounds like a whole podcast we'd have to write. Tune in for that one if you're watching this. Like that would be an interesting
next episode of Bike. Actually, it's not the next episode of Bike. It's will be the next one of our episodes of Bi-Conics when we actually do that again.
And think of all the people who are yelling at their phones or screens or wherever they're watching this, naming 10 of them that we can't think of right now. Like, how could you not think of? What do you mean?
Right.
But that's an interesting thought to think of. Yeah. So we get to this Edge. Grayson Waller match. We're talking about that. Okay. So here we go we're driving to the end of SmackDown. This was the next, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. During the Edge and Grayson Waller match, Michael Cole says, "Hey, Jey Uso is back in the building," which is obviously the foreshadowing of what's going to happen. We finish the match. We cut to Paul Heyman telling Roman, "Hey, just so you know, Jay's back in the building." And Roman says, "I know where I don't need him looking. He can find me in the ring." Fine. We go to the ring. You can tell my disdain by the way I'm describing this. We get in the ring. Where are you? The music drops. Nobody sees him. He comes out of the ring, or comes out of the crowd. Everybody sees him. We get in the ring, and Jay just starts fighting people. Hammers on Roman. All hell breaks loose. Kinda. I mean, I thought I wanted a little bit more here. And then at the end, it's the trial by combat line that you talked about a little bit ago. I want trial by combat.
Yeah.
Which
I did like the line. I want trial by combat so I can kick your ass again.
It's a good line. No, it's a good line. I don't hate that line. But then it was over.
That was my bad. Blood Down.
Blood Down. Thanks for watching Blood Down. And there's I don't want to disagree with the fandom that we were talking about earlier, that everybody loves this bloodline and wants to see it live forever. But you've run out of ideas. Like, okay, right. So what are you gonna do?
If it doesn't die at SummerSlam, I'm gonna stab somebody.
So that's what I think we gotta hope for, is that this is sort of the nail in the coffin. Now we've turned everything. Sammy and KO are gone.
We're turning that last.
We're not doing this solo arc anymore. It seems like it's just gonna be at SummerSlam. This happens. who takes the belt, who's the tribal chief. And then maybe Roman goes on vacation for another 1,000 days.
Get him off my TV screen.
What's interesting, and we can talk about this. We don't want to take too much time on this, but I'd like to talk about it a little bit. What do you do with Roman after he drops those titles? What do you do with them?
He leaves for a while, deals with his 5 fucking kids. Probably he has 5 kids.
Yeah, I hope he sees them. I mean, he's rich. They're probably traveling with him all the time.
Probably just go hang out with his family for a while, and then have him come back as like old, like try to push a different story with him. Have him go after something else. I don't know.
Bring back all the Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins stuff from like 10 years ago.
Do that, or we need Roman to do something quick. Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, have him go eat Brock matches and pins and stuff for a while.
Right. And then
again, you've written yourself into a corner. You created a Goliath, and now you have nowhere to go.
There's no David.
You're going to put this Jay in there, who's kind of like a David to a degree.
I'm hoping he's the David.
And if he beats Roman at SummerSlam, or they're going to do the Vince thing and milk it, you will have a trifecta, where he's going to beat him and then challenge him again, and then beat him and then challenge him again, and then beat him and then finally win or whatever. Like, where are you going? At least with Sammy and KO, you knew where it was going. And you were excited to see that. With Cody, you knew where that was going to go.
No, we thought Cody was going to win.
No, that's the thing. We all were like, that's where it's going to go. And then night 2 of WrestleMania happens, and we go, why are we here?
I wish that the annoying thing about that match was actually really fucking good.
Oh, yeah, it's frustrating now how good that match was. They're professionals, and it's nothing against them. And even though Roman Reigns only has 5 moves, or really, but
the one thing that people don't talk about Roman is he's actually super good at selling.
Oh, he's fantastic at selling. He's great at selling.
That's what makes his matches so damn entertaining.
He's got hair down to his waist. You better be able to sell with long hair like that. But you only got 5 moves.
All 5 of them look pretty damn good, though.
That's great. That's fine. But
it's not like Omos. It's not like Omos, who has 4 moves and they all look terrible.
Yeah, but every Roman Reigns match ends up looking the same.
That's what happens when you're the big dog.
When you're the big dog with 5 moves, every match looks the same.
John Cena had the 4 moves to Doom. All his matches look the same too.
Sure.
No, actually, Cena's matches did not look the same.
Cena made them all look different and had storylines and.
But
that stuff. Yeah,
we're gonna go about this all day. Yeah, that was SmackDown.
That was SmackDown. So on the mini scale, out of minis, how many minis out of mini do you rate this SmackDown?
It gets 2 minis.
2 out of 10 or 2 out of 100?
10.
2 out of 10 minis. 2 out of 10 minis.
2 out of 10 minis.
Not even 50%.
No.
I'm in there too. I think this was 4 out of 5.
I got bored.
Or 5 out of 10 minis. Like we're at 40 or 50%.
I got so bored.
I'm over it. I don't like the acting, the selling of the things. I just felt bad for folks that got shafted. I felt it was selfish and poorly planned. I was just out after the first 30 minutes. I was like, I don't want to watch this. I'm not even too excited to talk about it. And this is probably why we didn't review SmackDown from 2 weeks ago, because it probably would have been more of this. It's like, what are we doing here?
Right.
If you got SmackDown without an LA night, you're immediately in the 4 out of 5 range. Like, you're not going to get 10 out of 10.
I'm not even mad that I'm mad that he lost Money in the Bank. At the same time, I'm like, it's not too bad.
Sure. Well,
I like Damian Priest, so.
I like Damian Priest. I don't dislike Damian Priest.
I actually really like Judgment Day. I didn't think I'd like a heel stable, but I actually really like Judgment Day. More than just because it has Mommy in it. I actually really dislike Judgment Day.
I think they're so good at their job. I get mad when they sort of miswrite where they're going. Where I'm sort of like, why are you fighting Cody? Why are you doing this?
I'm just happy they won something.
Sure, absolutely.
Like, besides Rhea, they actually won.
Yeah. I think what happened, and we can do a whole thing on Judgment Day. I think Judgment Day got over too fast because people like Damian Priest or like Finn or like Rhea, but they're all kind of I hate you, Dom. So it's this weird dynamic
I
of, but I like
saw
them and I hate you.
I saw a theory that they're gonna kick that Finn's gonna leave, and then the person who's gonna replace Finn is gonna be Bray Wyatt.
In Judgment Day?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, they're already kind of hinting at a fissure between Finn and the rest of Judgment Day, anyways.
Oh, absolutely, they are. Yeah.
And they could just bring like Bray Wyatt. I think Bray Wyatt could fit like because they sometimes they have that creepy. Remember,
And
because
then,
how Judgment Day started was like the creepy.
so
Cult.
is it gonna, so Bray? So do we get this Rhea Ripley, Bray Wyatt, Dom triangle? Like that could be interesting
I
and
don't know if I want to see that,
and
but
freaky and weird.
that would be really weird.
That could get really weird quickly, but
Poor Buddy Matthews
it gives you it gives you somewhere to go.
already has to see his IRL girlfriend get, you know. At least they don't do like
Don't
they're
say it. We're
together,
gonna get
but they're not
demonetized. Don't
together.
say it. We're gonna get demonetized.
No, I'm not gonna say anything crazy.
You can picture the weird shit. You just can't talk about it.
No,
So that's 2 out of 10 minis from the mini. That's like 4 out of 10 minis from me. SmackDown July 7th was just that. It happened. Doesn't really get us going anywhere. We're not super excited about it. We hope it gets better, but I think we're in the pit of despair. The next few weeks is going to be kind of tough. Thank you for tuning in to our review of SmackDown from July 7th. My name is John. I'm the professor. This is Minnie. Check out everything else we have here on Vibe Tribe. We got lots of D&D podcasts, and we got all kinds of wrestling content going now. We have an AEW Dynamite review, which I'm doing. Minnie's watching Raw, usually by himself and crying a little bit. We got all kinds of stuff that we offer here. Big shout, only a little bit of crying. Big shout out to Aldolfo, JVL, and Mikey, who do a lot of the heavy lifting of this stuff. Minnie and I just talk and cause trouble. They're the ones out there in the trenches doing a lot of the work, so we thank them for that as well. Give us a follow on the socials. You can find us on the TikTok and on the Instagram, and we're here on the YouTube. If you subscribe, we'll love you forever. We really need it. And
yeah, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, please.
yeah, see, I don't want to do the schmactery YouTube like, comment, smash that like button thing. I just trust that you're good people and you want to hang out with us. That's all.
I'm gonna say it anyways. Hit
You're
the
gonna do
notification bell. Hit the notification bell. Come on, hit that notification bell. Yeah.
As long as we don't do it, I don't want to name any channels. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Really knock out the bell. Like that stuff drives me nuts. God. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.